Hi guys, I just have a few minutes between having brought little one to bed and having my tea, potato crisping up nicely in the oven. Other half is working late, and since we have a little bit of light still in the evening from the lovely evening sun, I thought I'd squeeze another review in. This one's about a bag which I had some queries about recently because it's not that common. And it just so happened that somebody put out a search post for it, and I said, oh, I've seen one on eBay, and she ended up buying it. Anyway, and then there were a few people asking about it. We are talking about it was called Bayswater for Macbook, I believe, and essentially it is a classic Bayswater shape with the postman lock, same closure. You've got the cloche hanging up the front. We've got the feet at the bottom, and this one is in a black patent finish, very shiny, which means it looks weird on camera because it catches the light in a funny way. But the special thing about this is, and this is why I really love it, is it's a proper little laptop bag. So it's not like the other Bayswaters, which essentially are just lined in suede and have that one zip pocket against the back, and you will probably want to put a Samorga or some kind of insert in there so you don't constantly have to rummage around this big cavity. This one has different compartments and features which help you keep your work stuff organised, mainly your laptop safe, and yeah, the rest of your bits and bobs organised in different compartments. So I tell you what, we'll start off just with the size. As I said, it was called Mulberry for MacBook, and I believe it was specifically created for the MacBook Pro, which is a 13-inch. And in terms of demonstrating, this is a little bit difficult because my MacBook Pro, which is 13-inch, is right there. I'm filming with it. So anyway, we'll get to that later. But the 13-inch fits perfectly in it. So the 15-inch will be too big, you won't be able to squeeze that in. Any laptop that's bigger, and I tried my work laptop, which is a HP, although it's a 13-inch, just doesn't fit in. I still have one of the older MacBook Pros, about 4 or 5 years old, so it's still thicker than the modern one. So the modern one will certainly fit in, but anything else than a MacBook Pro, I would expect would not fit. But I'll give you the measurements in a minute. The outside measurements are the width, we are 36 centimeters. Height, we are approximately, oopsie, what's that, 29 centimeters. And the depth across the bottom where it's the widest, about 13 centimeters, 13 probably. So if we open it up, you can see in the back of the bag, works fantastically well, there we go. In the back of the bag is a compartment where you slide in your laptop, and it's padded to the front of the bag and to the back of the bag. So your laptop is protected. It's also padded at the bottom where you slide your laptop against, and on the sides, so all nicely protected. And then once it's in there, you've got a little tab that goes into a little loop here, and that will keep your laptop in place. And what has just fallen out is, I actually really love this, is a little bag, which is even branded as Mulberry. There we go, with a pull. And it's really handy for cables. I put the charger in there, for example, so the cables don't get messed up everywhere. And then we have in there one zip compartment, which is probably a little bit smaller than what the classic Bays would have. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to catch the light for you, but it's in the front. It's a zip compartment. And then, tell you what, we'll turn on the light on my mobile. That's not the right button. There we go. Does this work? Why does this not work? No. There we go. So there, you've got a zip compartment in the front, and you see next to it, or underneath it, there's a little compartment with a button, under which actually you have the Mulberry tag with the number. And that's fairly small. I think you can't really get much more than a pen drive in. I reckon that's what it's been designed for. And then you've got one compartment which I can fit my iPhone 6 in, like that. And there's one right next to it which is slimmer, where you could probably fit in, let me turn this off, it's faffing around, where you can put in a couple of pens or something like that. So it's not a huge amount of compartments in there, but I think it's enough to keep your bag organised. So as I said, my laptop, my MacBook Pro is right there, and I'm recording with it right now, so I can't show you to put it in there because we'd have to stop filming. So the closest I have in terms of measurements is just good old magazine. It's a little bit shorter, but that doesn't really matter because that space will be empty anyway, so it doesn't it doesn't really affect it. And it's a little bit thinner, but just for presentation purposes, bear with me. So we'll just pop it in this way, just leave it nicer, even though that's harder to slide it in. There we go. In you go. And then close the tab, slide it through, pull it. It's all a little bit easier if you don't do it for the camera. Just putting it down a bit. So there it is, in there securely with the tab. And because it's patent and the tab is in patent and the bit where it goes through is patent as well, it's a little bit sticky, if you know what I mean. So even if I tilt this upside down, okay, the book isn't, or the magazine isn't very heavy, but the tab kind of sticks and therefore doesn't come undone. So I think you're fairly safe there in terms of it sliding out. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to fill up the rest of the bag with stuff that I would carry into work with me. So in here I've got small cables, which are like my mobile phone cable charger is in here that I've got in there. They're all other kinds of cable and USB pen drives. I have got nothing in there. Nothing in there. What have we got in there? We've got some tampons, some lip gloss or lip balm and a pen, so it just doesn't fly around in there. So we'll pop that in there. I've got my continental sized purse, put that in there. I've got my diary and my notebook, put this in right next to it. I've got my Blackberry for work. Now because I want to put my phone in the main compartment here, let's see what we do with the Blackberry. I think we'll pop the Blackberry in the little zip compartment. I've got my work pass and my train card, which we will also put in the zip compartment. And that should mean that with this being on the outside, I can just wave this at the sensor to get in and out of work. Pack of tissues, my inhaler, I've got my checkbook, an invoice I need to sort, and some train timetables. God knows why, you can look up everything online, but there we go. Pop it in there. I've got my keys, got in there. I've got my usual shopping bag, just in case. And then, what I've forgotten, I'll go and get it. Let's pretend my MacBook's actually in there, and then we will want to take the charger, pop it in there, close that, put it in, and there we go. Let's have a look. You see that at all? Some light. So there's still some place at the space at the top. I could probably also, slide a book in sort of behind the small bits and bobs. Close up. Closes very comfortably, there's no squeezing, nothing. Weight is alright. Looks okay from the side. And there we go. So if you're trying to find a compromise between a laptop bag and a Mulberry. They've done laptop bags. Unfortunately, they haven't been redone in the last few years. I don't even know exactly when these came out. I was very lucky to buy this pre-loved in an excellent condition. So I used it recently when I flew, and it was just so much easier at the airport to be able to slide my laptop in and out rather than having to faff around with my other Bayswater and the laptop sleeve in there. Of course, I could just take any old laptop bag, but I wanted it to be a Mulberry. So anyway, yeah, love this. Oh, one last thing, because I had no experience of this leather. This is drummed patent, apparently, and it just says it's delicate. Some colour may transfer from other materials when exposed to heat and humidity. From other materials, I can't quite imagine that with this being black, for this to be prone to colour transfer. Maybe this is just a general card. And this one says glossy leathers, distinctive look and texture, blah blah blah. Surface appears dull, rub lightly, get wet, wipe it down. The usual. Avoid rubbing against fragile or lightly coloured clothing. So they're saying it might transfer over colour onto something that's lightly coloured. Prevent scratching and marking. Avoid placing the product on rough or sharp surfaces. Now I have to say, I think this one came out in oak as well. When I bought this, I kind of thought, oh, I wish I could have gotten the oak, even though I hadn't seen any oak, but I just researched it and saw, oh, it existed in oak as well. But when I flew recently, it was great that it was patent, because when you're at an airport and maybe you're traveling with a child like I did, you have to put it down somewhere, and you can't always have a chair or whatever, or you put it into those boxes going through security and everything. And it really didn't bother me. I think if I had an oak coloured bag, I'd be more like, ooh, you know, what might stain it or whatever. That way it went on wherever, and when I got to my destination, I whipped out a couple of baby wipes and just gave it a quick wipe down, and was then happy that it was clean. If anything got spilled on it, as long as you wipe it up soon afterwards, it should be fine as well. So I think it's going to be hopefully very useful in that respect. The only thing that I have no experience of, and I don't know how it's going to behave, is whether it will be prone to any creasing. So one thing that I would say is, when it's in storage, I pack it very well so it's evenly packed, doesn't slouch, so I don't have to worry with it sitting too long with a certain section like this, for example, because I'm worried that then that might crease or break even at some point. So I'm trying to avoid that. But anyway, so this is it. It's the Mulberry Bayswater for MacBook Pro. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope you found this useful. Let me know what you think. Bye bye.